when it was time to move, we did. But when it was time to be president, and the congressman needed a little bit of
5:39. You're live now.
Okay. This is a special meeting of the Beardsley Board, and we are calling the meeting to order. I will call Monty is here. I think I see Charlene and Terry. And is that Gina's head I see?
Yes, I'm
Gina's
here.
here. Okay, good. All right. Number 3, we'll have, before I start that, I just want to remind everyone that this is being broadcast through Zoom. So please keep your monitors muted, and it's on YouTube as well, so that we can conduct our meeting. And if you do need to speak to us, then you can unmute and make your question or propose your information. Okay. That being said, we'll do the flag salute.
Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item number 4, public comments on agenda items. Are there any public comments? Do you hear someone?
No, I was just checking the audio.
Okay. Okay, hearing no comments, we'll move on to the consent section. Item number 5, consideration to approve recommendations for certificated and classified employment, change in assignments, resignations, retirements, leaves, and new positions. And do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I'll hold the board. Terry?
She's on mute, I think, Ken.
Okay, Terry, if you can unmute.
Aye.
Thank you. Charlene?
Aye.
I vote aye. Monty?
Aye.
And Gina?
Aye.
And the motion passes. Moving on to item number 6, a presentation and public hearing on reopening school plan. The board will invite public comment on the reopening of district schools on a virtual learning model with staff working from sites Monday through Friday for the start of instructional year beginning on August 17th, 2020, based on current public health directives from the governor and Kern County being on the watch list. The plan includes flexibility based on state and local public health guidance to adopt a hybrid protocols/procedures plan when conditions are appropriate and Kern County is off the governor's watch list. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And we will now go into public hearing.
Mr. Williams is up with his presentation.
Okay, Mr. Williams?
Okay. Brian, can you either put mine up or give me some permission?
Try now, Ms. Williams.
I got it. Very good. For those of you that were with us Monday, this is a kind of a recap of what we talked about. But starting fresh on our new school year, 2020-2021, we were all hoping that this would kick off with students at school. And because of the governor's new requirements, I think July 17th, he put some stipulations down to have safe in-person school. We have to be off of the watch list for 14 days. When I say we, I mean Kern County. Kern County went on the watch list last weekend. We remain on the watch list with our cases increasing we had quite a few today as well. Most of the presentation deals with opening school in a distance learning format. So items 2 through 4 really don't pertain. That's what happens if we do come back or when we're allowed to come back. So we'll jump kind of to number 5, and that is, we expect some rigorous distance learning, access to devices, and I'll kind of explain that as we go through the presentation. Live interaction between the teachers and students as well, with some challenging requirements, and our EL teachers, special education teachers, still supporting our students in a way that they've done in the past. Some safety measures that we have taken upon over the last couple of months to put in place. Number 1, we have a distance learning model that's all ready to go. Since our governor has asked us to have students stay away from school, we can open school with a distance learning model. All staff has been asked to wear masks outside their classroom. Since they're in the classroom alone, there's no need to wear a mask. But if they have visitors inside the classroom, we ask them to wear masks as well. Today, we started health checks at each of the campuses where all employees went through a rather quick review and asked if they felt fine and their temperature was scanned. We also have daily sanitation with some COVID killing CDC approved disinfectant. MOT has retained that material. And not only did we purchase the foggers that you hear about, you've probably seen on television for when our students get back, but we also have disinfectant that the teachers can use themselves. And the teachers were trained on how to use the disinfectant on our in-service on Monday. Excuse me. We are looking into a different type of air filtration system with the air conditioning units that we have at school, whether it be air conditioning this time of year or heat when it gets cooler, with the continuous airflow circulation and some preventive measures in that manner. Face shields are available upon request for our teachers. So the masks are required, but they can also request face shields if they'd like. Meetings with staff will be held virtually. Hand sanitizers in all rooms, restrictions on all visitors on campus, and sneeze shields in all of our offices and classrooms during conferences. So given the above safety precautions that we talked about, we polled our teacher base and asked, how comfortable are you returning to the workplace on a hybrid system? Because at the time we didn't know we were going to be forced into the distance learning. And you can see the results. We have the majority of our folks are comfortable with some concerns. 24% of our teaching staff comfortable with no concerns, and 18% feel that they're not comfortable at all for different reasons. I'm struggling to get this out of my way. There we go. So this is a sample of the elementary schedule for TK all the way through 6th grade. And out to the far right, you can see the time, the daily total time that we will be, the teachers will be interacting with the students. There's breaks throughout the day. I think it's very difficult for a student to stay on the computer all day. So there's breaks built in, and teachers will, the younger students, it's going to take them a while just to get logged in. So we'll see how that works out. Hopefully the repetitive nature of doing that, they will improve. Sample schedule for the junior high school. And I can't remember exactly when we made a change, but Mr. Hilton and I discussed The break period used to be between period 3 and 4, and lunch starts getting served at the sites at 10:30. So we moved the break down to 10:30 so that students would have a chance to come by the school and pick up a lunch. So during synchronous instruction, synchronous means it's live instruction, the teachers online participating with the students. They're going to focus on the essential standards. They met Monday and Tuesday to plan with their colleagues, looked at essential standards, not only what they know today, but what they looked at when we did our rigorous curriculum design units 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And they kind of adapted that to how it's gone for 6 years and might have changed some of those essential standards, but they've made a plan so they can move forward. Attendance has to be taken. We've provided an example on how you can take attendance, and we'll transfer it into our SIS or Power School. But there's several other ideas out there that teachers have shared within their grade levels on how they're going to take the attendance. Have to keep the students on track. If students do drop off, there's going to be other staff available, whether they're classified staff or teaching staff, that'll help get them back on track.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Get them back on track and participating in the class. Program assistance for all English learners, like we talked about in the afternoon. RTI and small group reteaching also planned in the afternoon, and extra activities like art and PE also in the afternoon. People in the process, and because of this, you know, we focused on this last year, and I think this really speaks well of the number of teachers that have taken the Google One educator training. But there's some really, really neat things happening as I walk around and listen in the hallways and hear about what people are doing, hear about how they're sharing ideas with each other. And I think a lot of it has to do with some of the training that they took, but a lot of it has to do just with the creativity of our staff. And they've really stepped up and come through in the last week, and you could tell that they were working on it over the summer. So thanks to them. Some of the issues that we've had in the past, parents really don't know how to use the Chromebooks, and if students weren't in third grade or above, they struggled at home. Well, they're going to practice that in the parent conference. So when a parent shows up to our conferences, they're going to have the student Chromebook sitting right there, the one that they're taking home for their child. The teacher will walk them through exactly how to log in, providing an example in the front of the room on their smart board, and the parent will follow along right on the Chromebook in the back of the room so that they know exactly how to log in. We're going to have a card that details the student login information. The parent will know how to check on the student's progress, and they'll practice that a few times. Most parents won't have an issue, but if a parent struggles, then teacher will practice that a few times. And also, you know, some people, they can do it there when they're having one-on-one assistance in the classroom, and then they get in the car, they take it home, and they think, oh my goodness, how are we going to do this? Mr. Frank and his team are providing a helpline that any parent can call or student can call and get assistance on getting logged in from home if they're struggling to do that. Sometimes we look at students not having their textbooks. Well, instruction must be standards-based, and they must use the materials that we've purchased for the school. So a lot of the current materials that we've purchased in the last 5 years, including language arts, history, and science, have electronic resources, and the teachers can use those resources. There's assessments within those resources. Teachers can edit that. They can create assessments in their Google Classroom, and giving teachers options, I guess I want to say, because some feel real comfortable using those resources. Others want to teach on their own. Students don't have school supplies, off to the right. Well, what we have said is a teacher that wants to send home pencils, supplies, crayons, whatever, a ruler, whatever they think a student would need for their class. We've provided special warehouse forms. I just call them COVID-19 warehouse order forms. And we're filling those orders on a daily basis. And the teachers are going to be able to send those home with the parent, with the Chromebook during that conference, and with materials like books and workbooks. So the student will have whatever the teacher would like them to have after their parent conference. So additional days to plan and prepare. Besides the Google Level 1 educator training, which was 1 day, the district is providing 6 additional training or preparation days for our staff to prepare for distance learning. Teachers will be getting paid. Started Monday, July 27th, with the district presentation similar to what you're seeing now. And then broke in the afternoon with a meeting with their principals and planning with their site grade levels. At the junior high, they could plan with their department grade level or department levels. On Tuesday, the planning continued. I noticed a lot of teachers building sites that the students, when they log in, will go right to that site and be able to access the materials online that the teachers would want to teach with. And they were sharing and helping each other do that. So I thought that day went great. 1 day next week, and that's kind of, we know that teachers still are not required to be back, so we wanted to give some options. So any day next week that the teacher feels that they need to do that, they're going to call the parents and schedule conferences. After they schedule those conferences, they're going to prepare all the materials that we talked about on the previous slide and have them in the classroom ready to go. So when a conference happens, they'll have all the materials right there for the parent. Then we're going to have 5 days to conference. August 10th through the 12th, again, are still not teacher duty days. So there's 3 additional days there that we'll be paying the teachers to set up conferences one-on-one with one parent. At this time, no students can attend school. No students can come onto the campus. So the teachers will make that clear when they set up the conferences. So the teacher can deliver Chromebooks, workbooks, materials. If a student doesn't have, or not a student, but if the family doesn't have Wi-Fi in their house, there's a solution for that as well. So we'll make sure that the students get all the material. And this time we are ready to go, unlike February or March 17th when we were scrambling. First day of service this year is the 13th, so that's the Thursday, and the 14th is Friday. So those are the final 2 days of conferences. Teachers are on duty at that time. And then instruction, then the weekend happens and instruction begins August 17th. So conference day, we set up your room. Teachers have been asked to set up the room. And I know the requirement is 6 feet, but we'd like to keep the parents about 8 to 10 feet away. Rooms are big, so that shouldn't be an issue. The parents are going to be screened prior to entering campus. Make sure they have an appointment, make sure they're on time, make sure they don't have a fever over 100.4. And then if they meet all the requirements, they show a picture ID and all is going well, they'll receive a thank you sticker so that when the teacher sees the parent, they're not going to think, I wonder if this person snuck through, or they'll be confident that this adult has been cleared. So we have a little video that I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Ryan can show the video that was prepared by some of our staff. It kind of gives an example of what that might look like. So I'll stop talking.
Hi, Mr. Phelps, welcome. Come on in through that door. Can you pop it open too, please? Well, welcome. Thank you for meeting me today. In front of you, you can see there's a packet of really important papers. If you could start filling those out, there's a pen there for you. But I will need those before you leave today. Is the emergency form, the school lunch information, those types of things. So right there on the side of the table, you'll notice there's a Chromebook charger, and there's also a form there. If you could start filling that out, I'd appreciate it. It will be just the contract that you have that Chromebook for your child. Okay. All right. Beardsley teachers. So everyone knows every child at the Beardsley School District will be receiving a Chromebook. So some parents might say, oh, well, we have a Chromebook, but we want every student to have their own Chromebook. At this time, hotspots will be available through principals, so that if a family needs one, they can get one. But they have to go through each site principal to get one. Okay, Mr. Phelps, so right there in front of you are our attendance expectations. So your child needs to join the Google Meet class every morning by 8:30. And there's the code up on the smartboard, but it's also on the paper there and also the little cheat sheet business card. The 3x5 card there has all the information that your child will need. So once they join, they'll need to join Google Classroom, and on the Google Classroom it will have an assignment, and that's how I will know that they are present on that day. All right, Beardsley teachers, just to let you know that the protocol is really going to be up to you as far as how are you going to take attendance? How are you going to know the child has met with you that day? Is it going to be through a morning meeting? Is it going to be a Google form that you push out and they answer the questions that you ask? That will be up to you. There will be a form that some people are creating and sharing, so we can talk more about it when we have our Zoom meeting. Okay, Mr. Phelps, your student will have access to Gmail. That will be a way for students and teachers to communicate. And all that they have to do is click on the big M, and on the Chromebook, they will be able to get their email so they can send questions. We can communicate that way. Mr. Phelps, do you have any questions?
Yes. What if I get home and I try to hook up the Chromebook and everything, my kids help me, and I just can't get it to work? What do I do?
Yeah, good question. On that paper there's some information you can call and someone will be able to help you out, or email and someone will get right back to you. But someone will certainly contact you because it is really important that we are all connected. Okay, Mr. Phelps, so if you could go ahead, over there on the table are all the supplies that you'll need, and there's a backpack there, so that's in there. There's a bag of supplies, Chromebook, don't forget that cheat sheet, and thank you so much, and I really look forward to seeing your student on Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and don't forget, you can take the pen. Okay, Beardsley teachers. one way that you can have your teacher and parent meeting. What's going to happen is that everyone will be receiving their class list. Okay, so if you could please contact the people on your list and ask that one adult, no children are allowed, come to the school. There will be a table out in front where the person manning that table will have all of our schedules. We'll let the one parent in. They need to sit outside one door, and then you invite them in when you're ready. If you have a classroom that only has one door, then you have a few options. You can put the table at the door and just have the parent sit outside and you're on the inside. Or if you're not comfortable being in the room at all, you can move the table outside under a tree. It's totally up to what you feel comfortable doing. Okay, so the district is providing all of us with some cleaning supplies to take care of sanitizing the area after the parent leaves. There will be sneeze guards. It might not look exactly like this, but it is available for you. But you'll want to go ahead and wearing the gloves, using just paper towels, sanitize the whole tabletop, the chairs, both chairs that the parent sat in, along with the doorknob. So that needs to be sanitized, and then you can just dispose of the paper towels. I'm sorry, sir. Can you please put your mask on? Cover your mouth and nose. Okay. All right, thank you for doing that. Now I need to just check to see if you have a confirmed appointment. Yes, you do. Check to make sure that you have a mask in your child's backpack. You don't have a backpack? Here you go. Let me check your temperature. And here's a pen. And you'll need to go to room 7. Do you know where that is?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, teachers, when you have the chance to, when you're on the phone with the parent, please make sure that they know that there will be a table set outside the school where they will need to confirm that they have a scheduled appointment. They'll need to have a mask. Hopefully they have a backpack for their child. If they don't, we will have some available. They will have to have their temperature checked. It needs to be in the guidelines for them to continue in on campus. We will have a pen that they will be receiving and filling out the paperwork with, and then they'll go to your classroom.
Thanks, Ryan. So I know there was a little repetitiveness with that watching the video, but I think it gave people an idea of what we were actually talking about. So, and they will receive a sticker once they make it through that screening process. During the conference, teachers will review the expectations for participation. They'll make sure the family has Wi-Fi, deliver all the books, allow time for the parent to complete enrollment. We've asked that the conferences are scheduled in 1-hour blocks. So there'll be 1 hour between conferences, allowing them plenty of time to complete that. And then another important thing, we want to remind everyone, parents, teachers, everyone, on the background that is behind during meeting. We want to make sure everyone's dressed appropriately. I know some people will be helping their young ones out on the computer. We just want to make sure we protect everybody. Again, conference times need to be held between 7:30 and 3. That way the custodians can still have time to get in and sanitize all the rooms. Remind the parent that only one child or one adult will be allowed, no children. We'll also make note if the parent doesn't speak English well and have an interpreter there. Ask them to bring a face mask and a backpack, and inform the parent that they'll need a photo ID and have their temperature taken at the front gate prior to entering. So at the school entrance table, just like Lisa said during the video, 2 employees will be stationed there. Ask the parent to wear the mask. We'll have extra masks if they don't have one. Ask them to show their ID, confirm their appointment time, check their temperature, and then give them a sticker. And finally, the conference. Everything that you heard about prior, inviting the parent to the classroom, check on the daily schedule, expectations for participation, demonstrate and have the parent repeat logging into the Chromebook, explain expectations for any materials that we lend them, and we expect the materials to come back, answer any questions, allow time for the parent to complete the paperwork, and thank the parent for attending. They should keep the pen when they are finished, and then they'll disinfect everything and prepare the table for the next conference. First day of instruction is August 17th. Teachers will start their Google Meet the Teacher at 8:30, provide grade level appropriate instruction, and make sure that we have our smiles on and ready to go. Finally, we'll leave it off with this, and I think we all agree that we're going to have to think outside the box, and I'm so happy that so many of our teachers have already started doing that. It's just great to walk around and see some of the super ideas that are coming out of the classroom. Any questions?
You have a question, Kevin. This is Gina.
Yep.
Okay, so you said about appropriate, dress on the camera and for the background and stuff. So am I to assume that schools legal is allowing camera usage on student Chromebooks then?
I have not heard that they were not using, in order to interact with the teacher has to see the student. And I think that it's real important that the student sees the teacher.
I completely agree.
Right.
But I have heard otherwise. So I just wanted to make sure that we are clear to have all those cameras on for the student use, because I agree with you totally.
Okay, well, we will check into it. Never heard that until just now.
Okay.
My presentation is complete. If there's no more questions, go
I have a
ahead.
question.
Sure.
So those students that need the school supplies, the teacher's going to have them and she'll hand them out, and then she'll supply herself, right, from the warehouse. She'll have them there to take for them to take home.
Correct. We tried to order pencil boxes for the younger students, and I think the vendors that sell pencil boxes must have known that this was going to happen. The cheapest pencil box I could find right now was $12. And so we bought gallon Ziploc baggies, and they don't have to, but teachers will have access to those Ziploc baggies to put the student materials in.
So whatever they need, they can take home that day, huh? Okay.
Whatever the teacher would like them to have, yes.
Great, perfect. And then the staff with the 2 site employees, is one of them is going to be Spanish speaking, just in case you weren't aware that they needed them the whole time. You'll have a Spanish speaking available, or how are you going to?
Are you talking about the table at the entrance?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're very limited on our Spanish speaking employees. And so I think when teachers make their calls out to the parents, we'll have a really good idea of, if someone has limited English capabilities, and we can make a note at this time, we need one of our Spanish speaking employees at the table.
So you don't think anybody will fall through the cracks on that?
No, because I think we have proximity to that table. We have Sandy within 20 feet of the junior high table, Maria, 30 yards from the elementary table. Each site has somebody that's real close, and we could call on them if we need them.
Okay. And I would just encourage the teachers, when they have the parents there, to encourage them to ask questions. Make sure those parents know that they have plenty of time to ask questions.
Most definitely, and that's exactly why we stretched the conference out to an hour instead of 20 minutes.
Yeah, I like that. I'm glad they're meeting with them personally for that and have that ability to have an appropriate time. It sounds great. I think that's all I had asked about. I like the hotspot too. That's going to be interesting how that's going to work.
Right. And when a teacher, I was working on that today with the help of Mr. Chen, junior high vice principal. When that's going to be one of the first questions a teacher asks when they have their conference, and doesn't have to have any paper interaction. I'm creating a form, just like we use teachers when you took roll the last couple of days. All the teacher's going to do is put their name down, put the student's name down. There's a box to say the parent is still in my room. Click the box, hit send. It's going to go straight to the principal. The principal is going to know, hey, that child's or that parent is in Mrs. Auger's room. Grab one of the hot spots, walk it down there, and they'll have that before they leave the room as well.
Oh, that's great. That's all I had. Thank you.
Sure.
If I don't hear any other questions, Mr. Herndon, I believe, is still on the call. Grant, would you like to address Trustee Rasmussen's question, or would you?
Yeah, Trustee Rasmussen, good question. I've just emailed our business attorneys to see if they've addressed. I hadn't heard that specific question. We've looked at whether live streaming from the classroom might be a problem, but I don't know that we've checked that one out. So if it's okay with you all, I will see what we've done on the issue and get back with you.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Grant.
Appreciate that. Okay, so any other
I
questions? Go
I
ahead.
have one question. On the 18% that were not comfortable with coming back, what are they going to be able to do? On that survey that you took, and there was like 18 that were not comfortable coming back with the staff?
Correct. That was taken, correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think having staff come back on campus just recently, Monday and Tuesday, has helped not alleviate all fears by all means, but I think once they see that precautions are starting to form and starting to take place, everyone has to be reminded. We understand that. I know that I've jumped up from my desk before and walked out in the hallway and think, forgot the mask. Can't tell you how many times I walk across the Costco parking lot, get all the way to the door and think, dang it, I forgot my mask, and I got to go all the way back to the car. So those types of things are happening, but hopefully things are easing. We've asked the teachers, what else do you need? We have face shields as well. They have to wear the mask, but we can provide them a face shield if that makes them feel more comfortable. Yesterday's roll, I can't remember what day it is. Tuesday's roll call involved a survey in order to know that the teacher was participating. And during that survey, it asked, do you have your own face mask? Would you like one supplied for you? I would say it was 50-50. We have those supplied. If you'd like a face shield, yes or no. We've already delivered the face shields. Gloves. So basically, what size glove do you wear? And we're going to make sure they have gloves in their classroom as well. So and the air filtration system, I think, is a big thing. And Amy is working on that. We met with the vendor or Johnson Controls yesterday, and he's supposed to have us an answer by 5 o'clock tonight, which I know is too late. But we'll figure that out as well, and we're going to move forward in that area.
So are we all stocked up on extra masks and extra face shields? And because I know those face shields, I was talking to a worker at Costco, and she used to wear one. I said, well, what happened to the face shield? And she said, well, it got all scratched up. I can't. So they don't last forever, so do you have extras? Because they're going to, there's going to be a shortage at some point, probably.
Yes, there already is a shortage, but we purchased a lot.
Good. Okay.
I have
Okay.
another question, Kevin.
Yep.
On one of your surveys, the results of teacher survey after the last board meeting, 52% of 102 teachers. So we have 102 teachers on staff. Is that correct?
That's what Lisa sent that out to all her staff, and that should be correct. I saw her raise her finger, so she might want to contribute.
Yeah, I unmuted myself. Those were the results. I sent out an email to the 102 current teachers at the time, so that's not including new teachers. So yeah, that was what I sent out right after the last board meeting when I told you guys that I would do that. And 52% of the teachers responded. 79% said that they prefer distance learning over the hybrid, but 21 said hybrid. But that was back at our last board meeting when we had that option.
Okay, so only half our staff actually gave a response then.
That's true. Well, more than half, but I feel that a lot of people chose not to respond at all because by that time there wasn't a choice with the county being on the numbers as high as they are. So I think that they're just they didn't toss in their true opinion because it doesn't really matter. We have to do distance learning.
Okay, so out of all the staff, do we know, kind of like what Ms. Anderson asked, out of all the staff that are coming back, all of them now, since we're doing distance learning in the classroom, are comfortable coming back into the classroom and teaching? We have nobody that is staying home, correct?
Are you asking me or the district?
The district.
Yeah, so Gina, so there have been a few teachers that I've talked to that contacted my office, and we meet and confer, talk through it with them. I think there was 3 or 4 at this point that we ended up, or I ended up personally talking to about it at this point.
So out of
some of the to further answer your question, I think some teachers have children of their own, right, that are school aged, and they have obvious concerns for what? For daycare issues. So we're waiting for a bulletin from the governor's office, supposed to come out today, tomorrow, in the next few days. We haven't seen it yet. We're waiting for a bulletin for them providing direction on the legality, or not necessarily, I guess the legality grant of having kids on campus as an environment of, and providing daycare services to staff members, kids or other kids. So we don't know yet. It's an unknown. So that has been a concern with some teachers.
Okay, thank you.
Did anybody email anything in?
No, nobody's responded to the
No
chat.
public questions?
Okay,
Okay.
we've got the one, but I'll let Ryan do the one.
You ready for that now?
Yeah.
Or we won't?
Was there any more comments or public comments or questions at this point? Hearing none, Mr. Frank has checked the queue with questions coming in from the YouTube portion of the video, and we see any.
Clark just said, I was under the impression that the required minutes were a combination of synchronous and asynchronous instruction. Is that not the case?
Yeah, I believe that is the case. It can be a combination. Who was that? I'm sorry.
Ms. Clark from North.
Okay, Valerie. Okay, yeah. And Valerie, I'll get you a more full answer on that. Yeah, I believe a combination. Kevin, correct? Step in on me if I'm not correct on that. But I believe it is a combination.
It is a combination. Anytime the students are working on an assignment that the teacher gave, that can count toward those minutes. If the teacher puts them in small groups and they're working together with other students, not necessarily with the teacher, those minutes count as well.
Very good. And was that the only question in?
There's only question on YouTube, and then we have.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and cover that one. We had a very articulate, detailed question come in this morning, I believe, from a parent from San Loren. I have spoken with that parent, and we're going to respond in detail to it in writing to him and then submit it back to the board of trustees. The board of trustees received this. I emailed this to them. Generally, I won't read the whole thing at this point, but generally, there are basically 7 questions. One has to do with Google Classroom and the elements of that. One has to do with socialization or the lack thereof, I believe, on a distance learning format, which we're all concerned about. A hybrid question, hybrid learning model question in the event we go to that. Daycare question again, and I believe related primarily to the hybrid model. And if we're back at hybrid model, is there going to be daycare and that sort of thing? Again, that one's unanswered at this point. We don't have guidance yet. Hopefully have that soon. Another question related to closing schools in the entire district based on infection rates. Mr. Constantine talked about that last week. 25% type rates applied there for schools in the district. So we will answer that one. And again, another question related to daycare and the cost, obviously, for everybody related to that, vis-a-vis maybe other options for parents such as homeschooling. So that was that question surmised. The last one dealt again with daycare and of course the associated costs with that versus I believe having kids at school and not having daycare after school or having it after school here. So we will respond to those the questions that came in detail and then submit those back to this venue to the board trustees. We want to answer these thoroughly and in detail, and so we'll do that.
I have another question. As these teachers call, they may find that some of the parents are going to say, I'm just going to homeschool. Have they been given any kind of response that they should give? Any kind of, anything that you think that they should say?
Yeah, Mrs. Anderson, yeah, the parent, I believe, has the right to do that. We've had that many times in the past. We would encourage the teacher then to report that to administration so we can go from there with this.
Because I think you're going to have some people that are just going to say, I'm going to homeschool. And so I think we need to keep track of that very closely and see the percent that choose to do that. It would be interesting, but the teachers can't say anything at all. Is that right? Is that correct?
I think that would, Kevin, you can jump in too, but I think that would be referred to administration at that point so that they're aware of it.
Yeah, I would suggest that, all administrators have address your staff prior to conferences. There's still another week prior to the conferences, but I understand what Ms. Anderson is saying as far as the conference call to set up the conference. They might hear something like what you're saying. And again, as a teacher, I would encourage them, we've worked really hard to make this happen. Everyone agrees that the place for our students is here at school for in-person instruction. And we wouldn't want a student to miss out on what we're doing up until that point where we come back to school. So I think you're right. I think we can give them some pointers to talk about, but
could they say, and at some point we will bring them back as soon as we can?
Of course, yes.
As soon as the health and, the criteria we've set up to encourage the parents to realize that we're working on it and, doing all that we can, and we want to keep everybody on the same page. Maybe the teachers could say something like that so that they'll realize that hopefully this isn't going to last forever.
Yeah, and we will have, I will have, assuming we have approval tonight on this, I will have letters to parents out tomorrow morning, which will talk in detail about that, on some of that. So,
but I do think some of them are going to say, hey, if I'm going to have to do it, this way, I'm just going to do it my way,
You bet.
So I think the teachers need to be prepared with a few things to say. Just my 2 cents.
Any other comments, questions? Well, thank you very much, Kevin. That was a really good amount of information, really good video. I think we need to nominate Ms. O'Shea for the Thespian of the Month.
Hey, Ken, I think Ms. Battles has something to say, but she's on mute.
Okay.
And unmute her, right?
Yeah,
I'm trying.
I'm not responding. It's not responding.
Ah.
Oh, there she.
Now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. On the scheduling of the conferences, I don't know how many children per teacher. I want to know how much leeway the teachers are going to have. Like if you call 5 people and all 5 parents have an excuse as to why they cannot attend a conference on the time that the teacher has allotted for them. I mean, say out of 20 kids, you get 10 parents that have to be rescheduled. Do the teachers have enough leeway to work within a time frame to get all of these conferences scheduled?
The answer is we hope so. There's 7 time blocks a day. Of course, teacher has to have a break, has to have a lunch, but they have some flexibility, and 7 times 5 is 35. They're not going to have that many, but if a teacher schedules, parent agrees, but come that day, something happens, it always happens, parent can't make it, teacher has some flexibility in the daily schedule. You can see as well that they could possibly meet with the parent in the afternoon. We definitely don't want to extend that and continue that over the amount of time that we're doing distance learning, but they would have flexibility if a parent says, you know, I had a flat tire and I just could not make it. Could I make this up some other time? So there is flexibility.
Okay.
That would be one of the benefits of having distance learning. But again, the teachers would have to put that extra time in.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, that being said, we will go out of public hearing on the letter A piece of information. And now we'll move on to letter B. Board discussion and possible action on plan for reopening district schools. Consideration to approve reopening on a virtual learning model for the start of instructional year beginning on August 17th, 2020 per state directive, and adopting a hybrid protocol/procedures plan. Authorize superintendent to change the learning model between the virtual model, hybrid A/B model, and traditional model based on state and local public health guidance and approval from local public health authority, or with confirmation that Kern County has exited the county monitoring list for 14 days. All staff to work from sites Monday through Friday, and we have exhibits, and we will go into public hearing.
Actually, we didn't require one public hearing. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so not to recap completely on the hybrid model, we went through it last week, and there's probably 30+ pages, but Ryan, if you could call it up, I do just want to show, because we're approving the hybrid model and we covered it last week, or putting it up for consideration.
Do we need a motion for this?
Do we do a first and a second?
No.
First one, okay.
We did?
All right.
I did
Okay.
for the first one, but I thought it lasted for the second one too.
It's good, we're good.
Okay, so I can go to the second page for me. This is the hybrid model. Again, it's a lengthy document, but I want to just pull this up because we're proposing to take action on it with the distance learning format as well. You can see that if and when we're able to go to a hybrid based on the government being off the governor's watch list, this would be the daily schedule. You have cohort 1 or A, group A of a class attend Monday and Tuesday, as we talked about last week. Wednesday be off for both cohorts for deep cleaning. B cohort would attend on Thursday and Friday, distance learning format. And that would be the cycle. That again allows us to follow a health protocol with 6 foot of separation and the other protocol that we're mandated to follow by the health professionals. And so that would be the structure of the hybrid model. Now, this plan, the hybrid plan, will be posted to the district website if approved tonight, for everybody to go ahead and view the entire plan and read through. It has all the protocol for most of the scenarios that anyone could contemplate, probably related to this. Ryan's turned it to the next page, but yeah, that's you can see the level of detail and the sources there. So we think it will be a useful guide.
Good. Okay, any questions regarding letter B? Hearing none, I will poll the board. Terry?
She might be on mute.
Ken, before we vote though,
Aye.
when we're voting, if we say yes, we're voting yes for both models? Because A seems totally different than B.
You want me to,
Yeah, go ahead.
What we're voting for, Gina, is A was all about the distance learning model Mr. Williams went through. Last week, I went through the hybrid model. So
Right.
what you'd be voting for here is to start the year by governor mandate under a distance learning model. Then as health conditions improve and or Kern County's off the watch list, we would then anticipate being able to move to the hybrid model, which I just shared. Ultimately, also, this would be approval to move to a traditional school model, which of course I'd bring back to the board each time we were going to move, but this would authorize all three, but it would call for a start on a distance learning model as is mandated by the state because Kern County is on the watch list right
Okay,
now.
but if we ever do go to a hybrid model, we would vote on that before doing it?
I'd bring it back to board. This would be the vote for it, for authorizing me to switch back and forth, but I would not do that without coming back to the board, switching to the hybrid model. And we would want to make it at a timely time and all those sorts of things for everybody concerned on it, but I would bring it back. I'd bring it back to you. But this
So-
would authorize, this just gives me authorization to assess that and take a look at it, but I would bring it back to you.
Okay.
Mr. Herndon, would you have anything else to add to what I said there?
No, it seems like this gives you the flexibility to do that, but you're committing to your board that you're not going to do something rash and sudden without consulting them first, so.
Yep. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Terry,
Aye.
Charlene,
Aye.
I vote aye. Monty,
All right.
and Gina.
Aye.
And measure 6 passes. Item number 7, consideration to approve a revised 2020-2021 school attendance calendar. Revisions due to Kern County being placed on the governor's watch list, and we have an exhibit.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, so we changed, what we did is we needed some more time for teachers to meet and confer with parents due to being on the watch list and needing to elect to go to a distance learning model. We were originally scheduled to open on August 12th, Wednesday. This would bump it to Monday, August 17th, providing 2 more days to do all the things that Mr. Williams talked about in this presentation. So that's the reason for the calendar change.
Do we have to make up those days?
Yeah, they would go into June. So I believe it's, Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's June 1st and 2nd or 2nd and 3rd.
June 2nd is the last day of instruction.
1st and 2nd, Gina Mrs. Rasmussen would be 2 days that would be added to make up for the loss of the 13th and 14th.
Any other questions? Terry,
Aye.
Charlene,
Aye.
I vote aye. Monty,
Aye.
and Gina.
Aye.
And item 7 is approved. Item number 8, consideration to approve the CARS Consolidated Application Reporting System, consolidated application, and we have an exhibit.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Williams or Olivia? I wasn't sure who was going to tackle this one.
Here, I can talk about it. I just I can't see where we are in the presentation from where I'm sitting, Ryan. So I'm basically on the second page of that if you're scrolling somewhere. As the board members are looking at their packet, the 2018-19 Title II Part A. This is something we do every year, and this is twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. Usually our spring consolidated app report is completed in June. Since everything has happened, they pushed the date back to having it approved in late July, and it's due in August. So anyway, the Title II, the district uses Title II money to reduce class sizes, and it's a 100% teacher salaries. The 24-month report, as you can see, basically all the money that we received has been spent over 24 months. On the next page, it's the 12-month report, which was last year's money. We did carry over, or we are going to carry over a little over $20,000 to this year, just simply because of things that would have normally been spent last year didn't get spent toward the end of the year. On the third page, it says 2019-20 Title IV use of funds. And this is what we use to pay for a community specialist that helped with reduce attendance and part of the junior high school social worker salary before the grant kicked in. The grant has kicked in now, so Mr. Cogan's salary is paid by from a grant that we received. And the bottom line on the Title IV report says we're carrying over $20,000 into this next year. The reason that number is so high is a lot of the incentives that was planned to give to students that improved their attendance last year never had a chance to get to that point. So, and that's the case throughout this application. The federal government has given us a waiver for these funds. Usually you're not allowed to carry over 15% into the next year, but there's a waiver for that because of the COVID-19 issues. So our 2019-20 homeless education policy basically identifies Miss Angel Dean in the district office as our homeless and foster youth liaison, gives her telephone number, and on the back side of the page talks about how much money was allocated to the homeless. This last year, $12,000 was allocated. We spent $9,000 of that, and the majority of that money was spent on transportation, transporting homeless back and forth to schools. Next page was on protected prayer certification. Basically is our certification that we don't prohibit prayer in public education at any of our sites. The next page is our federal addendum, which if you have a really good memory, about this time last year, we approved our federal addendum, and the date on there reflects that approval last year. The next page is our application for funding. We're going to ask to receive the same entitlements this next year, which was Title I, Title II, and Title IV. Title III is basically for our English learners, and we don't really have enough English learners to make that worthwhile for applying.
If we asking, will we receive it though?
If we asked for it, we would receive it, but then we would be required to do several steps, which would require hiring more people, and then it wouldn't offset the cost.
Okay.
Then we would get to the nonprofit private school consultation. If any Beardsley students that are low income attended a private school close to our boundaries. So there's really only one school within our boundaries that is on the next page. Go find it. Legacy Christian, which is basically the school there on Olive Drive. We have to check with these schools annually to see if we have any students there. Then we have to offer them that student's section of the Title I money. But they usually don't accept that because just like what you were talking about with Title III, if they accept the money, then they have to meet the same requirements that we meet for 2,000 students for that one student. So it's not worth their while to accept the money. We also check with Olive Knolls Christian School over off of Fruitville Avenue, and I can't remember the other name, but there's one up where Manor wraps around behind Highland Elementary School. There's a private school there as well, so we send them letters as well.
What
And
about Valley Oaks? Do you have to do the same with Valley Oaks?
no, Valley Oaks is the county school. Is that what you're talking about?
They're
Yeah,
a charter school.
They're charter, but they're not private school.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then finally, the substitute accounting system. This is just our guarantee that when we bring subs into the schools, that they are credentialed appropriately or have waivers, that we're not just taking someone off the street because we can't find a sub and putting them in a classroom.
Speaking of subs, how are we going to handle subs with virtual learning?
We've discussed that. We've kicked it around different sites of, that's one of the things I ask grade levels to talk about when they meet. You know, North Beardsley has many more classes in one grade level than the other two sites. Beards Elementary and San Loren really only have one additional. If one teacher is out, there's really only one other teacher in the same grade level in many cases. And we've talked about, to answer your question, nothing is finalized yet, Mrs. Battles, but we've asked them to discuss and see if they wouldn't mind taking the students from that other class. Since it's virtual, they don't have to crowd them all into their own classroom. They're working together on curriculum, so they should be on the same topic. And then that teacher that's taking the students would receive the substitute pay, because we're not going to be able to find a substitute that knows how to work all the virtual materials that our teachers have now been trained in.
Right. That's if you could even find a substitute. I think subs are going to be like hen's feet. They're going to be hard to find. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And I've been wondering about subs for quite a while now, so thank you. I appreciate the answer.
Sure.
That's all I had.
Anyone else? Thank you once again, Kevin. A lot of information there. We needed that. Okay, Terry,
Aye.
Charlene,
I
vote aye. Monty,
Right.
and Gina.
Aye.
And item number 8 is approved. Item number 9, certificated classified personnel comments.
Hi there. Is there a principal or is anyone that would like to say anything? Are you ready for me, Mr. Burgess?
I'm ready.
Okay, I have a little short prepared speech. So, over the last few weeks, we've heard that none of the options, hybrid, everyone at physical school, or distance learning are ideal. But I'd like to let you, the board, the district, the parents and families, that Beardsley teachers have been spending countless hours researching, planning, and collaborating to see that we are prepared to deliver our very best for our amazing Beardsley students. We know that this will not be easy, but most impactful things rarely are. Most of us are totally out of our comfort zones, never imagining that we'd be teaching our students through a computer screen or having a board meeting through a computer screen. But here we are, and we're ready. We all know that educators all over the country were in crisis mode when we were all sent home back in March. But teachers are great at getting things done, especially when things are hard. So now that each of our students will have a Chromebook and Wi-Fi, and we're all trained and properly prepared, we are going to take advantage of this opportunity to learn new things together and make this year one of the best years ever. So I'd like to thank you, the board, for approving this plan for tonight. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Mr. Miller and Mr. Williams for working extremely hard for our whole district. This has not been easy. Thank you to the district secretaries, the IT team, MOT, admin, everyone at Beardsley for seeing that we're ready to go bright and early on August 17th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job, Lisa.
I like your enthusiasm.
Have no choice.
Anyone else? Comments, questions? Let me move on to number 10. Right.
Yeah, can I make a couple?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, so, yeah, thank you, Lisa, for that. Yeah, I want to thank the entire staff, myself. This has not been a typical July. There are many people who haven't left this building an entire month. My staff, Mr. Williams, his staff, many teachers, classified employees. We had people work the nutrition serve from the first day to the last day of June that didn't need to do that and just did it. An amazing thing there. It has been a huge, huge sea change here, but we're coming through it, and we're going to make it work, and we're going to deliver the best instructional program we can under these circumstances. Mrs. Auger alluded to us having this time to react to this, and we have. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but that means that we are going to go out and give it 110%, and we're going to do the best that we can with the difficult hand we've been dealt here. And I know everybody is going to do that, and everybody has been doing that. All the departments, I don't want to miss anybody. We've had, gosh, the nutrition department, the technology department, MOT, all going the whole summer, just with no respite at all, to be honest, on this thing. And our principals, vice principals have been around when they're normally not around this month a lot. And we're very thankful for that. We're just thankful for the whole Beardsley family who would step up like this and try to do what's best for the kids. And that's exactly what we're seeing. That's what we always seem to see around here. And I'm just real proud of that. And we're gonna face the challenges. And when we have, make no mistake about it, we have a chance to get our kids back on campus with their teachers. That's exactly what we're gonna do. And so that when health conditions get better and we get off the watch list, that's what we're all aiming for here. And there's no substitute for having our kids here together with teachers. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. And so we're gonna keep working hard and push forward, and we're all gonna get through this together. And I just want to reach out to everybody from the board of trustees all the way through every single employee. It's been phenomenal to see what's happened.
I'd like to echo what Lisa, you said in your statement. Thank you, Paul and Kevin, for all the work that you put into this. And it's going to be a tough year, but Lisa, if you could give a virtual hug to all the teachers and a hearty pat on the shoulder, good luck. We're behind you as a board, and we'll support you in whatever way you need. And Ryan, you're going to get a lot of business, but we'll all work through this thing together.
I would just like to say, the Beardsley team family always amazes me how they come through, how hard they try, and how proactive everybody's tried to be, because there's so many unanswered questions. Things are still going to come up, but everybody's tried to think forward, ahead, trying to answer, and look forward to, so these kids get the best they can get, because it's gonna be tough. These teachers are gonna be tough, but we are behind you. We're gonna try to be there as best we can, but you're on the front lines. And so
Right.
bless your hearts. Well, good luck, and we're going to be watching and helping in any way we can.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, that would probably be item number 10 that we just concluded. And so item number 11, next regular board meeting will be August 10th, 2020 at 5:30. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.
11.
Okay. Good night.